Losing unwanted fat so effectively that it is practically falling off of you is something you absolutely can do, but you have a problem. Every coach keeps telling you you need to get into a calorie deficit, but getting into a calorie deficit is confusing. So in this video, I'm going to show you a very simple way to get into a calorie deficit. Now, if this is your first time seeing or hearing me, I'm Coach Antoine, and I specialize in helping women and men over the age of 40 lose unwanted fat and sculpt fit, healthy bodies. And as of the filming of this video, I've coached a little over 1,000 people in my program. Like my client Gail, who at age 67, we were not only able to lose unwanted fat, but also sculpt her a toned body where you were even seeing a six-pack. Or my client Valerie, where we were able to do the same in her 50s. And a key part of these transformations are the calorie deficit. But I know a lot of you are struggling with a calorie deficit, like Teresa here, who left a question over on my Facebook. Now, here's her situation. She says, being in a calorie deficit confuses me. I work out 3 to 4 days a week for about 45 minutes each time she's working out. So I know there's a lot of you out there like Teresa who are working out, but you're still not seeing the results that you're looking for. Now, she then goes on to say, so let's say I consume 1,600 calories a day. How many calories do I need to burn a day to be in a calorie deficit and lose weight? And I know many of you are wondering the same thing. How much do you need to burn to lose weight? But before we can talk about that, I have to explain first what a calorie deficit is. Now, first things first, a calorie deficit is not about how many calories you burn during your exercise session. This is where most people mess up. What it's about is your total energy balance, meaning how many total calories you burn throughout the day, and this includes more than just exercise, versus how many calories you eat or drink. And the truth is, you are burning calories 24/7. You burn calories when you are eating, you burn calories when you're thinking, you burn calories when you are sleeping. Exercise is an extremely small part of the total calories that you burn. So in Teresa's question here, when she says that she is eating 1,600 calories a day, the real question is, how many total calories does your body need to maintain its current weight? That number of calories will be your maintenance calories. And if you want your weight to go down, then you have to eat below that number. And that is when fat loss happens. So let's say your body burns 2,000 calories a day, and this would include your daily activities, sleeping, digestion, and of course, when you decide to do your 45-minute workouts. So if you were burning a total of 2,000 calories a day and you are eating 1,600 calories a day, that means you are in a 400 calorie deficit, which comes out to losing roughly 0.8 pounds of fat per week. And we know that because being in a 500 calorie deficit every day will allow you to lose roughly 1 pound per week. But Teresa is not losing weight because of one of two reasons. Either her calories have not been accurately tracked and she is eating more than 1,600 calories. This is very common for most people. Or it's option two, which is that her maintenance calories are actually 1,600, meaning the amount of calories she needs to eat to stay the same weight. Now let's assume she is being accurate with how she's tracking her calories. She's eating 1,600 calories per day and she's not losing weight. That means 1,600 is not a calorie deficit, so we have to create a calorie deficit. Now, most people will be tempted to try to create that larger deficit with exercise, to try to burn off the extra fat. Now, sure, you can absolutely do that. Let's say you decided to hop on an exercise bike and you decide to do a tough 30 minutes on the bike. Depending on your level of fitness, you may only burn 300 calories or less after putting in all of that effort, which is fine until you realize that that 2 handful of healthy nuts you had as a snack came up to 300 calories, so you have totally washed away your calorie deficit. It is practically impossible for most people to out-exercise a bad diet, even if that bad diet is with healthy foods, because it comes down to calories if you want fat loss. And this is why diet should always be the foundation of any fat loss journey. The way I like to think about it is that your workouts are an accelerator, but not the main driver of losing weight. So instead of thinking how many calories should I burn today, start thinking how can I be consistent with my calorie deficit each day. So that means a couple things. Eating high protein meals. The reason you want to do this is that protein will give you a little calorie burn boost, but it'll also help to protect your muscle and help keep you full while you're in a calorie deficit. You also want to make sure that you have a set target of how many steps you want to walk each day. Do not be random with it. You also want to do strength training somewhere between 2 to 4 times per week. This is also important to make sure you are going to maintain your muscle, because if you lose it, your metabolism is going to drop like a rock. And you also have to sleep well. And when I say sleep well, I mean get a minimum of 7 hours of sleep per week, and you don't want to be drinking or smoking before bed because it messes with your sleep cycles, and you also want to keep your stress levels low. Doing that while having a proper calorie target will help you lose fat. So let's take it back to Teresa's question. She's exercising, she's eating 1,600 calories a day, but she's not losing weight. The best way to do this is to do everything in that list I've given you, but you also want to have a calorie target that puts you into a deficit. So if you are not losing weight off of 1,600 calories, and let's say you want to lose 1 pound a week, then you want to subtract 500 calories from that number. So if you're eating 1,600 calories per week, but you are not losing weight, and let's say you want to lose 1 pound of fat per week, then we want to create a 500 calorie deficit. The majority of that deficit we want to get from food. So you want to lower your calorie target from 1,600 to maybe 1,200. That'll put us into a 400 calorie deficit. And then to reach that pound a week, you can then do the other things like exercise to then burn an additional 100 calories. But here's the thing. With the amount of calories that you burn, do not use that number as a reason to then be able to eat more food. And this is a mistake a lot of people make. Let's say you were on a treadmill at your local gym, and let's say the treadmill told you, or your Apple Watch or Fitbit, let's say it told you that you burnt 1,000 calories in that session. What some people may be tempted to do is then add more calories onto their food because they think they have a larger calorie budget because they worked out. That is a mistake. Calorie trackers are incorrect, and they typically overestimate the amount of calories that you burn, which is why I do not want you to focus on calories burned. Focus on the target calories that you are eating as the main driver. It will be more effective. And then if you are burning more calories from exercise, your results will just be quicker because you get like a bonus to your deficit from your activity. And that's it. That is how a calorie deficit works, and what you can do practically so you can get results like my client Wendy here in her 50s or my client Ashley here in his 40s. Now, if you would like some help along your weight loss journey and you're curious as to what it would be like to have me as a coach, you can message me the code word TRANSFORM. That way we can have a quick chat about your goals, see if we're a good fit, and then take it from there.